So this is a question I received. It's actually a three-part question. Let me read it for you here. If I'm struggling with a passage and I feel kind of anxious and it's been over 13 minutes and I still have 5 questions left in this section, would it be better to skip or finish what I started? How do I examine the answer sentence? This is the question stem and the answer choice combined. How do I examine the answer sentence carefully enough without losing so much time? Is it more valuable to skim the answer choices and be confident that they're not correct, or to completely defend the answer choice that I think is correct? And then, how do I make sure that external factors don't affect me? Very often I feel lost in questions pertaining to a specific passage, but then when I come back later, it feels better. Okay, so I want to talk about questions, all three of these kind of in one go, and I'll just share my thoughts with you guys real quick. So, if you are in the middle of a passage and you realize you're at 13 minutes, it's already too late. You already made a mistake. And I think the real question is not how to react at that moment, but how to change your test taking behavior so that moment never comes. Okay? That's the real question. But let's just deal with the emergency question first. The emergency question is you realize that you actually don't have enough time. Now, why don't you know that? Why didn't you know this like 5 minutes earlier? Like, why didn't you know this 3 minutes earlier? Like, that's a whole separate issue. But anyway, you have too little time now. What do? At that moment, the most honest thing you can do is just take the hit. You need to acknowledge, oh my God, I messed up my strategy. Like, I messed up my time management. I made a mistake. I allocated too much time on questions that were probably not useful for me. Or I let myself get distracted while I was reading so that I had to force myself to reread. And then even that was inefficient or something. Whatever it is, you're the one who should take responsibility for it because there was no one else doing that reading for you. And you should accept that responsibility by then moving on to the second step. You should tell yourself, okay, I made a mistake. I deserve a lower score. So let's say your target score was 750, then just be like, okay, I made a mistake. I am 3 minutes behind. I guess that's gonna cost me maybe two questions. I guess I'm just gonna get a 730. Accept that you're just gonna do worse. By doing that, you're gonna reduce the pressure on yourself, and now you have a new goal. You're focusing on 730, and by doing that, paradoxically, you might even be able to get it beyond 730, right? But just manage your emotions by acknowledging the mistake and then accepting the consequences. Okay. After that point, the key thing to keep in mind is that out of all of the possible ways to waste your time, the worst is to waste 3 minutes on a very hard question, going from like answer choice B to passage to C to passage to B to passage to C to passage to B to passage to C. Like, just fucking going over and over the same two answer choices, like going in circles in your head, is a complete waste of time. That question is probably too hard for you. Just accept it and sacrifice the hardest couple questions so that you can focus on getting the easy and medium questions correct. Okay? So a different way of saying this is you sinned against the SAT gods by spending too much time in the first passage. Okay, then pay your sacrifices. Sacrifice 2 more questions. Just skip 2 really hard questions. So going back to that question, should you skip all 5 questions that you have left in the passage, or should you finish the 5 questions? You should still finish the 5 questions. Just sacrifice the hardest ones. Okay, and then the second part of this answer is the real question. The real question is, how do you avoid finding yourself in that position in the first place, where you are just way over time and you're just shocked that you are way over time? A couple things, like you could just implement my habit of just checking the time after every single question, right? Writing timestamps down, stuff like that. But all that aside, the main thing to have is to have a repeatable, adaptable test-taking engine. I've talked about this before. A repeatable, adaptable test-taking engine, and I'll just tell you specifically what I mean. What is it that happens that causes people to not adapt to hard questions and waste all their time? Here's my strategy, okay? I answer. So first, when I get to a question, let's say it's question 13, unlucky 13. Okay, I get to question 13. I look at the question stem, and I try to make a prediction. Okay, uh, when I'm trying to make a prediction, I might have to look back at the passage, whatever, right? But then anyway, I get back to the question stem, and I try to make a prediction, and I find that I'm not very confident in my prediction. Okay, I feel like I don't fully understand. All right, that's the beginning of my bad luck. Then I try to match one of the answer choices to my prediction. So I do a quick skim. I look for a match. I don't find. I find like a maybe partial match, but I don't find a very good match. Or maybe I just don't find any match at all. Okay, then now I'm forced to do process elimination. So I do process elimination A, B, C, D, but I can only eliminate A and D. I'm stuck between B and C. Now this is the step where everyone goes wrong. Okay, if you had eye tracker software and you watched where the eyes of these people go from here, you'll notice that their eyes go from B to the passage and then back to B and then C to the passage and back to C. B passes B, C passes C, B passes B, C passes C. And where do their eyes not go? They don't go to the question stem. So it's actually a huge waste of time to let yourself get into that little circle, into that endless cycle of just debating between like two words. Instead, what you need to do, or what I would recommend you do, is you just cover the answers. Okay, you did the prediction, you did the match, you did the process elimination, fail, 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 right? Now cover the answer choices with your hand or whatever, and double check the question stem. 50% or more of the times you'll realize that actually you completely forgot a key phrase in the question stem, okay? At that point, you can make a updated prediction. So this is the re-prediction. Make an updated prediction, then do a second match, a rematch. See if you can match one of the other answers to your new prediction. If you cannot match on the second time, should you go into process elimination again? No, you've already done all the thinking. How much more thinking are you going to do at this moment? How productive could it possibly be? What if this question number 13 is actually the hardest question on the entire test, and even the 800 scores, 50% of them got it right? Even 50% of the 800 scores got it wrong on question 13, and your goal is like 730. Should you be spending more minutes on question 13 just like doing a double process elimination, a triple process elimination? When does it end? You know what I mean? So just have a repeatable, adaptable engine for test taking. And what that means is you fire your pistons, and hey, if it misfires, just move on. Just move on. Circle the question, make a guess based on your gut feeling, and then just move on. You can come back to it later. If you implement a repeatable, adaptable strategy, you will find that actually you can finish the entire test in like 55 minutes. Even the harder ones, right? Because you're just moving on from the hard questions. So that'll get you through all 52 of the, out of all the 52 questions, it'll get you through all the easy ones for sure, all the medium ones for sure, and then maybe even some of the medium hard ones. And then you'll have maybe like 6, depending on your level, like 6, 3 really hard questions left over, and then you can go and pick and choose with your remaining time the ones that feel the most recoverable. Okay, so that's how you place yourself in a position that you will never end up surprised by the time. All right, so let me know what you guys think about this. After you try implementing it, let me know what struggles you have. Write it in the comments, and I'll I'll try to see what kinds of struggles you're coming up with, what parts of my explanations were unclear, and then I'll give an update when I can. All right, guys. Good to see you guys again. It's been a long time. I'll catch you on YouTube soon. Till then, good luck on the August SAT coming up tomorrow. Peace.